Okay. How am I totally terrific and fantastic uh, uh, subscribers? Sorry, viewers. I meant to say viewers, it came out subscribers. I'm sorry for that. So, how am I totally terrific? How am I totally terrific and amazing viewers? Welcome to another one. I'm not going to keep you too long. But, I mean, like, you know, I'll just keep you for long enough here. A little idea, yeah. No. So, okay. For anybody who's transgender or Down syndrome, sorry, for anybody who is transgender or has Down syndrome like me, but maybe having it a lot more heavier than me, you might understand this this policy maybe a bit more than me. And if you don't, that's alright too. You know, I'll take it. You know, we can help each other out. But if you do or don't, it's not going to be depending on that I might not know what I'm talking about. Okay, half the time I'm doing a video. Half the time, my videos end up making no sense at all because I don't rely on. Well, I mean, I rely on a lot of things here, but forget about relying on. But I'm not going to rely on it. But yes, but if I can walk away from relying right now, I'd like to talk about briefly here transgender. Wait. Why society has transgender women folk and people who have Down syndrome on the run, and why it's so important to put us on hold, and that's the only way to catch up with us. Like, I mean, what? Like, what exactly is that meaning? Society decides to put us on hold or pause us. Society is telling us that we gotta slow down so they can catch up with us. That is so, how should I say it, wrong? No. Society does not need to society is not the society should not be telling us that. So, Down syndrome or transgender women folk or guy folk, you know, whatever side of the planet you want to do that on. But I'm more focused. But for me, it's more the transgender women folk line. And maybe if there's some guys in that area, you know, of gender, that might be watching this too, then okay, fine. You know, I 145 million% salute you. if this ends up in your vote court, court of miracles here, like, I mean, yeah. So, like, you know, what? We as transgender women folk and Down syndrome guys and girls have to slow down or stop altogether because society can't keep up with us. Like, oh my God, that's that's a new one, and I can tell you how that's a new one, and I can tell you why that is such a new one. Because we're going to go at our own speed. Because we, as transgender women folk, or people who have Down syndrome, we're going to go whatever speed we want to go. Rather it's fast, slow, or too slow. You know? We're not going to slow down for the man. Meaning society here. We're not going to slow down for the man. Just so it can take us, just so it can catch up with us, and then talk mean about us, you know? Society has a issue with people with Down syndrome and Asperger's and everything else, including transgender women folk. We should not be slowing down for them or stopping for them. Society should slow down for us. Not us to them. You know, society does not, we do not need to slow down for the man. Meaning society, you know. We do not need to slow down for society so they can catch up to us. Just so they can grab a hold of us by the nose and tell us that we can't have Down syndrome or transgender or have a transgender. We should not be slowing down for the man or stopping for the man. Just because they have us controlled does not mean they have us in control. Just because they have us in control, just because they think they have us in control, just because they think they control us, does not mean they control us. Just because they think they have us controlled does not mean that we are in their control. We are in our own control, and society had better get that into their head. Okay? I'm not trying to be the goody-goody that says society can sit on it. Like I'm not trying to be the goody-goody here that says, well, okay, society can grab a hold of us whenever they want. No, they can't. My transgender brothers and sisters, and while I'm there, Down syndrome brothers and sisters, sorry, peers, my transgender peers, and while I'm there, my Down syndrome peers are going to do what we want to do, and we're not going to slow down for society. We're not going to slow down for the man. We're not going to stop for the man either. We're going to do what we want to do at whatever speed we want to do it. So here's an idea. Leave society out of this. My transgender and Down syndrome peers are not going to slow down for the man. If society wants to do something, if society wants to have an issue with us, fine. but they're not going to tell us when we can be transgender and when we can have. But society is not going to, but society better get this into their heads, is that I'm not going to slow down for them, and neither are any of my, and neither are any, and neither are my Down syndrome and transgender peers, and neither are my Down syndrome peers or my transgender quote unquote women peers are going to slow down either. We're all together. Down syndrome, transgender, you know, it's the same thing, it's just got a different name. It's the same thing. Down syndrome or transgender. It's the same darn thing. They just put another name on it. You know, we're all misunderstood. Transgender is, for women folk, are the same as Down syndrome people. As transgender women folk are the same, believe it or not, as people who have Down syndrome. We're all misunderstood from and by society. So why should we feel like a threat because society needs us to slow down so they can catch up with us? We do not need to be made to feel like a threat because society hasn't caught up with us. We're going to, you know, if society has an issue with it, fine. Fine. They can have it. But, you know, I said my piece here. And I don't want to ever talk about this ever again in my channel. I have a much more fun